Hello, my name's Miss Quinlan. I'm subject leader for history at the Bishop Stortford High School, and in this video I'm going to be introducing you to what we can offer you in our history A-level course. I'm going to take you through the kinds of skills you need, kind of skills you'll build, where history can take you, and of course, most importantly, what you can expect to study when taking a history A-level at our sixth form. To be honest, if you're asking that question, you're already along the right lines. History is for people who always want to know why. Why do things happen the way they do? Why is our world the way it is? Why does something that happened centuries ago still have relevance today? You've got to have a thirst for knowledge, and you've got to be excited by the chance to go diving headfirst into the mysteries of the past. You've got to enjoy developing arguments, challenging ideas, making links, seeing trends. You've got to be willing to read. The more history you read, the better you'll do in this A-level course. You've also got to be someone who doesn't mind a good essay, who loves the opportunity to get their teeth into a complex issue and then absolutely tear it a new one with your skills at analysis and evaluation. On our side, we'll teach you to think independently, to develop your own arguments, and use evidence to justify your opinions. Consider different interpretations and think critically about the source material we use. There's a common misperception that really all you can do with history is become, well, a history teacher. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But actually, history is a subject that opens a huge number of doors. It's what used to be called a facilitating subject, which means historians come pre-equipped with a bucket load of extremely transferable skills. Background in history can take you into journalism, law, the civil service, politics, finance, PR, diplomatic services, consultancy, even business management. 10% of the directors in the current FTSE 100 have history degrees. Essentially, history is a highly valued academic discipline that is going to be very attractive to a whole range of different employers. Thinking more in the short term, history makes a nice little side dish for all kinds of other A-levels, particularly those that are essay based. It goes very well with subjects like politics, English, geography, psychology, but it can also go with maths and science. It's all about logic, evidence, academic research, so actually more similar than you might think. The History A-level is examined in 4 parts. You've got 3 exams and 1 coursework unit. Our topics range from the Russian Revolution to the Viking raids to the British Empire. For this next section of the video, I'm going to let other members of our team talk you through each of our main units.
Hello, my name's Dr. Coakwoods. I'm one of the history teachers here, and I'm here to tell you about the part of your A-level course that focuses on the making of England. This unit focuses on a period of pagan Scandinavian invasion, people known as Vikings, that destroyed many ancient Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to leave only one, Wessex, in the southwest of what is now England. This became the foundation for a process of conquest and consolidation that resulted in the making of what we now know as England. Your course breaks into 2 parts. The part A is focused on sources and how far sources from this early medieval period agree with a given statement. And its focus is on Alfred, the King of Wessex at the time of the Viking invasion. The first part of your part A focuses on how Alfred was almost defeated but fought back to reform his military and defeat overwhelming odds. There's also a unit on the governance of Alfred's kingdom, how he sought to unify his kingdom politically, and then finally how Alfred revived learning and created a culture of Englishness, or tried to do so, that was rooted in a concept of Christianity that believed in an interventionist God that would fight for his Christian people against these pagan invaders. Your part B follows Alfred's successors and is examined using traditional sorts of essays that you will have written at GCSE. The first part B unit is focused on Edward, Alfred's son, who expanded his kingdom northwards to take former ancient Anglo-Saxon kingdoms back from the Danes and add them to his own kingdom of Wessex. We then look at Athelstan, the first king of England, who conquered the north and made links to communities in the north, such as here, connecting with the community of St Cuthbert, a powerful saint in the north. We then look at a series of kings under whose reigns England fell apart and broke back and was brought back together, conquered by Danes, and then control re-established by these English kings to create a unified kingdom of England that could endure. And then finally, we look at the reign of Athelred the Unready, who faced renewed Viking invasion from Scandinavia and eventually lost his kingdom not once, but twice. And that's your Anglo-Saxon unit on Alfred and the making of England.
The Russia unit of your History A-Level looks at the fascinating and turbulent early 20th century history of the largest country on earth. Analysing the causes and consequences of 3 revolutions, we will look at the collapse of the Romanov dynasty that had ruled Russia for over 300 years, the failure of the provisional government, Russia's short-lived experiment with liberal democracy, and the emergence of the world's first communist state. In learning about the latter, we will look to gain an understanding of the ideological principles of Marxism before comparing these with the reality of the regimes of 2 of the most infamous figures of the 20th century, Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin, 2 captivating leaders who were responsible for atrocities on a huge scale and yet who inspired remarkable devotion amongst some of their followers. This is a course that covers political intrigue, immense socio-economic change, and the impact of 3 devastating wars. This is a dramatic and crucial period of history.
The Empire unit of your History A-Level looks at the changing nature of the British Empire from 1857 to 1965. This topic will ask you to investigate the factors which encouraged and discouraged change during this very controversial period in British history. You'll discover key developments across the whole of the empire, be it India, Malaya, Egypt, the Sudan, Palestine, Kenya, Ghana, Uganda, the Caribbean, and most controversially, South Africa. Within the study of empire, we'll look at 4 main areas or inquiries. The first one looks at the governance and the administration of the British Empire. We'll look to explain how and why the British controlled certain parts of the empire the way it did. The British Empire, for example, relied completely on coercion and used violence, intimidation to rule over the native populations. Or were the relationships between the natives a bit more subtle, relied on mutual cooperation or trusteeship, or trade? Our second inquiry will look at the opposition to British rule. We'll look at whether or not opposition was peaceful, was it violent? We'll then look at the impact of the imperial power of the empire on Britain and abroad. Was the empire, in essence, an embodiment of racism? We'll also look at how did the British view the empire? Were the British actually proud of the empire? And this is a topic that is worth discussing, especially if you look at the number of statues in the UK today. And finally, we'll look at whether or not the British Empire was a superpower and how it used this power status in both the First World War and the Second World War, and most importantly, during the Cold War.
final unit of your History A-level is coursework based. We call this the personal study, and it makes up 20% of your final grade. As the name suggests, the most exciting thing about this part of the course is that it's completely down to you what it's about. Essentially, you get to plan, research and write a 4,000-word essay on a topic of your choice. This will involve both critically analysing primary source material and reading the works of historians. When it comes to picking your question, the choices are pretty much endless. As long as it doesn't overlap with any of your other 3 units, there's very little restriction. In the past, we've had essays on everything from the Spartans to the suffragettes, Stalingrad to the slave trade, swinging 60s to the Somme, to the Salem witch trials, to the Spanish Civil War, plus loads of others. The personal study therefore gives you a great opportunity to look into an area of study you haven't studied before, and really challenge yourself to step into the shoes of a serious academic historian. The icing on the cake is that it's a chance to nail down almost a quarter of your final grade before you even got near an exam. And that's a really handy element for an A-level course to have. It's challenging, refreshing, and very much personal to your interests, so often the most rewarding unit of all. So there we have it. Hope to see you in September.